Hello, my amazing students, and welcome back to your channel, Native Flow. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation in English and you understood everything, but you didn't know how to react? Not how to answer, just how to react. Someone tells you something interesting, or surprising, or even confusing, and you just stay silent. Or maybe you say something very basic like yes or okay, and the conversation feels a little empty. This is something many learners experience. Not because they don't know English, but because they don't know the small reactions that make conversations feel natural. In real life, native speakers don't only speak in full sentences, they react constantly. Short words, small phrases, simple sounds, and these reactions are what make conversations feel alive. In this video, you will learn real English reactions that native speakers use every day. Simple expressions you can use immediately to sound more natural, more confident, and more connected in conversations. So don't try to memorize everything. Just listen, follow the situations, and let the language feel natural. Let's begin. So let's start with the most important idea. In real conversations, you don't always need full sentences. Most of the time, you just need a reaction, a small response that shows you are listening, understanding, and connected. And this is where native speakers are very different. They don't wait to build perfect sentences. They react quickly and simply. Let's start with one of the most common reactions. Really? This word is everywhere, but it doesn't always mean the same thing. It depends on your tone. If someone tells you something surprising, you can say, "Really?" It shows curiosity, interest. It invites the other person to continue. Now imagine someone says, "I finished the project in 1 day." You answer, "Really?" That's enough. You don't need a long sentence. You don't need to explain. That one word keeps the conversation moving. Now let's look at another one. Nice. Very simple, but very useful. You use it when you want to show approval or positive reaction. For example, "I got a new job." You say, "Nice," short, natural, and it feels real. Now, something important. These reactions are not about information. They are about connection. You are not adding new ideas. You are showing that you are engaged, and that's what makes conversations feel alive. Now let's move to another reaction. No way. This is used when you are surprised, but not in a formal way, in a very natural, everyday way. Example, "I saw him there yesterday." You respond, "No way." It shows surprise, it shows emotion, and it feels very natural. Now let's continue. Another very common one is, "Got it." This is used when you understand something. Not deeply, not perfectly, but enough. Example, "We'll meet at 6 near the station." You say, "Got it." Simple, clear. No need for more words. And this is very important because many learners think they need to say, "I understand what you mean." But in real life, people don't speak like that. They say, "Got it." Now let's look at another reaction. Right. This one is interesting because it has many uses. It can show agreement, it can show understanding, it can even show that you are following the conversation. Example, "So first we finish this, then we move to the next step." You respond, "Right." It shows you are with them. You are listening. You are connected. Now let's go deeper. Because reactions are not just about words. They are about timing. You don't wait too long, you don't interrupt too much, you react at the right moment. And that comes with practice. Now another useful reaction. Exactly. This one is powerful. You use it when you strongly agree. Example, "This method is much easier." You say, "Exactly." It shows strong connection, strong agreement. and it makes the conversation feel natural. Now let's move to something slightly different. Yeah, very simple, but very important, because it's not just yes, it's softer, more natural, more relaxed. Example, did you finish it? You answer, yeah, instead of, yes, I finished it. Both are correct, but one feels more natural. Now let's combine reactions. Because in real conversations, people don't always use just one word. They mix them. For example, yeah, that makes sense. Or, right, I see. Or, yeah, exactly. These combinations sound very natural, and they give you more flexibility. Now let's talk about something very important. Silence. When you don't react, the conversation feels empty. The other person may think, you don't understand, you are not interested, or you are not paying attention. But sometimes, you are just thinking, and that's okay. But you still need to show something. Even a small reaction, even a simple, yeah. This keeps the connection alive. Now imagine this situation. Someone is telling you a story. You don't say anything, you just listen for a long time. That feels strange. Now imagine instead, yeah? Really? Nice. Right. Now the conversation feels alive because you are participating, not just listening. Now here's something important. Do not try to use all reactions at once. That will feel unnatural. Choose a few. Practice them. Use them in your daily listening. Even when you watch videos. Pause. Repeat. React. Because fluency is not built by memorizing. It is built by using. And these reactions are the easiest way to start. They don't require complex thinking. They don't require perfect grammar. They just require awareness. Now let's summarize this part. Reactions are small, but powerful. They keep conversations moving. They show connection. They make you sound natural. And most importantly, they reduce pressure. Because instead of building long sentences, you just respond. Step by step, moment by moment. And once you master these simple reactions, you will notice something interesting. Conversations become easier, not because your English is perfect, but because you are finally part of the rhythm. And that is where real communication begins. Now let's move into something more dynamic, because reactions are not only about listening. They are also about expressing emotion. And this is where many learners start to feel limited, not because they don't understand, but because they don't know how to react emotionally in English. They stay neutral, flat, or too simple. And when that happens, their English sounds correct, but not alive. So in this part, we're going to focus on emotional reactions, the kind of responses that show surprise, interest, agreement, and even doubt. Let's begin with surprise. One of the most natural reactions for surprise is, no way. We saw it before, but now let's go deeper. It's not just about the words, it's about how you use it in real moments. Imagine someone tells you, I met a famous actor yesterday. You respond, no way. That reaction shows genuine surprise. It feels immediate. It feels real. Now let's compare it with something more neutral. Oh, really? This is softer, less emotional, more curious than surprised. So now you have two levels. No way for strong surprise. Oh, really? For lighter reaction. Now let's move to something else. Positive emotion. When something good happens, instead of just saying good, native speakers often say that's great, or even that's awesome. These reactions show energy. They show enthusiasm. Example, I passed my exam. You say, that's awesome. It feels natural. It feels supportive. Now something important. You don't need to use big words to sound expressive. Simple words with the right tone are enough. Now let's move to agreement. This is very common because in conversations, people often share opinions, and you need to show that you agree. We already saw exactly. Now let's expand. You can say, I agree. This is clear, but a bit formal. More natural options are, yeah, I agree. Or, that's true. Or even, yeah, that's right. These feel smoother, more conversational. Example. This is the best way to learn. You respond, yeah, that's true. Simple, natural. Now let's go into something slightly different. Partial agreement. Because in real life, you don't always agree completely. You agree, but with a small difference. In that case, you can say, I see what you mean. This is a very powerful phrase because it shows understanding without full agreement. Example, this method is the only way to succeed. You respond, I see what you mean, but I think there are other ways too. This feels balanced, respectful, and natural. Now let's move to doubt, because sometimes you hear something and you're not fully convinced. You can say, are you sure? This is simple, direct, and very common. Example, he finished everything in 1 hour. You say, are you sure? Now something softer. I'm not sure about that. This is less direct, more careful, and often used in polite conversations. Now let's go deeper again, because emotional reactions are not only about what you say, they are about how fast you react. If your reaction is too slow, it loses impact. If it's natural and immediate, it feels real. So practice reacting quickly, not perfectly, just quickly. Now let's move to empathy. When someone shares something personal, you need to respond differently, not with excitement, but with understanding. For example, that sounds tough, or I understand, or that must be difficult. These reactions show emotional awareness. They show that you are not just listening, but feeling the situation. Now let's take a real example. Someone says, I've been working a lot. I'm really tired. You respond, that sounds tough. Simple, but meaningful. Now let's move to encouragement, because sometimes people need support, and your reaction can give that. You can say, you'll get it, or you can do it, or that's a good start. These phrases are simple, but very powerful. Now here's something important. Do not try to sound dramatic. Stay natural. Stay simple. Because real conversations are not performances. They are exchanges. Now let's combine reactions again. Because in real life, people often mix emotion with agreement. For example, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it like that. Or, no way, that's crazy. Or, that's great. I'm really happy for you. These combinations make your speech richer, more human, more real. Now let's talk about balance. If you use too many reactions, it feels forced. If you use too few, it feels empty. So find the middle. React when it matters. Stay simple. Stay natural. Now let's summarize this part. Emotional reactions bring your English to life. They show personality. They show connection. They make conversations feel real. And most importantly, they help you express yourself without needing complex language. Because sometimes a simple reaction is more powerful than a long sentence. And once you start using these reactions, you will notice something important. People respond to you differently. They feel more comfortable, more connected. Because now, you are not just speaking English. You are communicating like a real person. And that is a big step forward. Now let's move into real conversations. Because knowing reactions is useful, but using them naturally in real situations is what makes the difference. This is where everything comes together. Timing, emotion, flow, and most importantly, confidence. Let's start with a simple situation. You are talking to a friend. They begin telling you a story. I went to this place yesterday and something strange happened. At this point, you don't stay silent. You react. Really? That small reaction invites them to continue. Now they add more, yeah, and then I saw someone I knew from years ago. You respond, no way. Now the conversation feels alive because you are part of it, not just listening. Now let's build this further. The person continues, we started talking again, and now we might work together. You say, that's great. Notice what is happening here. You are not giving long answers. You are not thinking too much. You are reacting step by step, and that creates rhythm. Now let's look at a different situation. You are in a discussion. Someone shares an opinion. I think learning English through listening is the best method. You can respond in different ways. If you agree, yeah, that's true. If you strongly agree, exactly. If you agree but want to add something, yeah, that's true. But I think speaking is also important. Now you are not just reacting, you are building the conversation. Now let's go deeper, because real conversations are not always smooth. Sometimes you don't understand something, sometimes you miss a part. This is where many learners break the flow. They stop, they feel pressure, but you don't need to stop. You can react and recover. Example. So we'll meet after the event near the main entrance. You didn't catch everything. You say, wait, near the entrance? Now you confirm. You stay in the conversation, and you keep the flow. Now let's look at something more dynamic. Group conversations. These are more challenging because timing becomes very important. People speak quickly, they interrupt, they react fast. So what can you do? You use reactions as entry points. Instead of waiting for a perfect moment, you join with a soft reaction. For example, yeah, I think. Or, actually, that's interesting. These phrases help you enter smoothly, not aggressively, not awkwardly. Now, once you are in, you continue naturally. You don't try to say everything at once. You build your idea step by step. And if you need time, you use what you learned before. You slow down the moment. You say, let me think, and continue. Now let's move to a different situation. You are telling your own story. This is more complex because now you are not reacting, you are leading. But even here, reactions are important because they help you organize your speech. For example, so, I went there yesterday, and honestly, it was amazing. Notice the structure. So, honestly, these are small elements, but they create flow. They give you time. They make your speech natural. Now imagine you forget a word. This happens to everyone. Instead of stopping, you react, you adjust. You say, how can I say this? Or, what I mean is, and you continue. The conversation doesn't stop, and that is the key. Now let's go even deeper, because reactions are not only about what you say, they are about how you listen. Active listening. This means you are not waiting for your turn to speak. You are engaged. You react. You respond. You follow the conversation. This creates a different experience. People feel that you are present, that you are interested, and this makes communication easier. Now let's look at a complete example, a natural conversation flow. Person, I've been trying to improve my English, but it's difficult. You, yeah, I understand. Person, I study a lot, but I still feel slow. You, that's true. It takes time. Person, sometimes I feel like I'm not improving. You, I see what you mean, but I think you are improving. This is natural, simple, real, no complex sentences, no pressure, just flow. Now, here's something very important. Fluency is not about saying more. It's about saying the right thing at the right moment. And reactions help you do that. They give you structure, they give you rhythm, they reduce silence, and they make conversations feel easier. Now let's talk about mistakes, because you will make them. You will use the wrong reaction sometimes. You will react too late or too early. That's normal. That's part of the process. The goal is not perfection. The goal is participation. Every time you react, you practice. Every time you participate, you improve. And slowly, these reactions become automatic. You don't think about them, you use them. And when that happens, your English changes. It becomes smoother, more natural, more connected. So next time you are in a conversation, don't focus on building long sentences. Focus on staying in the flow. React, respond, continue. Because that is how real conversations work. And once you understand that, everything becomes easier. Now, before we finish, there is something deeper behind everything you learned in this video. Because reactions are not just a speaking tool, they are a mindset shift. Most learners focus too much on what to say. They think fluency means building longer sentences, using more vocabulary, and sounding more advanced. But in real life, that's not what makes someone sound natural. What makes someone sound natural is how they respond in the moment. Small reactions, quick responses, simple words used at the right time. And this is where everything changes. Because once you understand this, you stop trying to perform English and you start using it. There is a big difference between those two. Performing creates pressure. Using creates flow. Now think about your own experience. How many times did you stay silent, not because you didn't understand, but because you didn't know how to react? How many times did you wait, trying to build a perfect sentence, while the conversation moved forward without you? That's where most learners lose confidence. Not in vocabulary, not in grammar, but in reaction. Because conversations don't wait, they move. And if you don't move with them, you feel disconnected. So instead of trying to say everything, you learn to respond first. You learn to react. And then build from there. This is a completely different approach. Instead of thinking, what should I say? You start thinking, how can I stay in this conversation? And the answer is simple. React. Even if it's small. Even if it's simple. Even if it's not perfect. Because every reaction keeps you inside the moment. And staying inside the moment is what builds fluency. Now let's go deeper. Because something important happens when you start using reactions regularly. At first, you use them consciously. You think about them. You choose them. But after some time, they become automatic. You don't think. You just respond. And that's when your English starts to feel natural, not because your vocabulary suddenly improved, but because your communication became smoother. And smooth communication is what people feel, not perfect grammar. Now, here's something very important. Do not underestimate simple English. Many learners believe that simple words make them sound weak, but in reality, simple words used naturally make you sound fluent. Because real communication is not complex. It's clear. It's direct. It's human. Now imagine this. Two people are speaking. One uses complex sentences, but hesitates, pauses too much, and struggles to react. The other uses simple reactions, simple sentences, but stays connected and responsive. Who sounds more fluent? The second one. Always. Because fluency is not about difficulty. It's about flow. And flow comes from rhythm, from timing, from interaction. And reactions are the foundation of that rhythm. Now let's connect this to your practice. From now on, when you watch videos, don't just listen. React. When you hear something interesting, say, "Really?" When you agree, say, "Yeah, that's true." When something surprises you, say, "No way." Practice this even when you are alone, because you are training your brain to respond, not just understand, and that changes everything. Now, one last idea. Stop waiting until you feel ready, because that moment never comes. You don't become ready and then speak. You speak, and then you become ready. And reactions are the easiest way to start. They don't require perfect sentences. They don't require perfect thinking. They just require presence. And once you are present in the conversation, you improve faster, naturally, step by step. So next time you are speaking English, don't try to impress. Don't try to sound advanced. Just try to stay connected. React, respond, continue. Because that is how real communication works. And once you master that, your English will not only improve, it will feel real. And that is the goal.